So, hi. My name is Felix. My pronouns are he, they. I don't usually do anything like this, and to be completely honest, I'm a little bit nervous about it, naturally, right? So, season 1 of the Last of Us show came out at some point last year. I don't remember when. Came out at some point in 2013, right? Fuck, that's the game. The brain rot, it's getting to me. It came out in 2023 last year. And disclaimer, I did watch it. I've already seen it. I know that if I hadn't, I would be extremely late to the party. But I've been thinking about it lately because I only saw it once. And even though I remember pretty well what happens in it, I think since it is such a source of rage for me, this fucking show, I know that sounds controversial. I know it is because most people love this show. I don't necessarily blame people for loving the show. It just doesn't, to me, feel authentically The Last of Us. And I know, God damn it, it doesn't have to be the same as the game, you can enjoy new things for once in your life. Not everything has to be the same, blah, blah, blah. Here's a fun thing called autism. I love The Last of Us. The Last of Us is like my biggest special interest. I've been in love with the first game since it came out in 2013. I've been in love with it, and I've played it a bunch. I've platinumed it. The DLC came out in 2014. Love the shit out of it. The second game came out almost nearly 4 years ago now, and I've been in love with it ever since. I've platinumed it. Part 2 is my favorite game of all time, but Part 1 is a close second. The franchise overall, favorite game franchise of all time. So, I'm not saying this like I'm the only one. I know I'm not nearly the only one. I'm just saying I'm one of those people, right? I belong to that group who know The Last of Us like the back of their hand. I know everything that happens. I have memorized like the lines of dialogue, especially for the second game, right? But also for the first game. And it is very comforting to replay it for me. So when the show got announced, I was like, that's awesome, that's great. We're gonna get more of the same. I was wrong. And I should have expected to be wrong because the world doesn't really like monotony, and I can't necessarily blame it for that. It's just I love monotony. Monotony is my thing. The show came out and I watched it, and overall I hated it. Now hold on. There are things that I like about it. There are things, and we'll talk about that. But overall, I hated it. It's not great. Could have been great as its own thing with the amount of changes that they did. Honestly, could have been its own thing. Could have been a great show of its own. Probably I wouldn't have watched it if it were its own thing. Funnily enough, I'm not like a big zombie media guy. It's just The Last of Us has I have a soft spot for The Last of Us because it's not just zombies, and the way that they did zombies is pretty original too. I'm not a big zombie guy, so I wouldn't have watched it, but I think it could have been a great show on its own with its own thing. It feels like a great value version of The Last of Us. It doesn't feel authentically The Last of Us. So what I thought was, right, I wish I could have recorded my very first reactions to the show. Didn't occur to me to record my first reactions to the second game when it came out, when I played it. So, big mistake. I did write down some of my thoughts, but I didn't really write down all of them. I kind of stopped and dissociated for a while because it took me a bit to process that game. But it never occurred to me to record my reactions to any of these things, to either the first season of the show or the second game. Didn't occur to me. I didn't know that I would have such strong reactions, right? But I did. I should have expected that. The idea was, okay, I've seen it, but I've only seen it once, right? So I was thinking I could revisit it roughly a year later and kind of just give my thoughts on it and just kind of express my rage a little bit. It's not really rage, but it's a little bit of rage, I guess. I'm not a very angry person, but mostly just my frustration with it, and to explain why, and to kind of just geek out about The Last of Us. I just need to talk about it. So yeah, that is my thought. Revisit the show The Last of Us, because this will be only my second time seeing it, and probably my last. I don't plan on really rewatching it a third time. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of record that, and if anyone ever at all is interested in my thoughts on it, then they're welcome to watch along with me. Also, if, I'm pretty sure there's none of that, but if it's at any point you hear me speaking English a little bit weird or emphasizing too much on words, one, again, autism. Also, English is not my first language. I am fluent in it, but yeah, if there's any confusion with another accent coming out, that's why. Also, I swear, there's swearing in the show, there's violence in the show, bunch of shit like that. So if that's not your thing, then I suggest not watching it. So let's just get right into it.
And that's your biggest worry?
Yes, any kind of virus, but most probably something similar to influenza.
Because of air travel?
Through the air.
Coffee. I'm sorry. But you, just to be clear, you do think microorganisms pose a threat? Oh, in the most dire terms. So, fungus. Yes, that's the usual response.
I like the acting here.
Many species know otherwise. There's a fungus that infects insects. Gets inside an ant, for example, bending the ant's mind to its will.
Dr. Schoenheis, you're in distress.
Fungal infection of this kind is real, but not in humans.
There's some people making noise outside. Well, this is the worst day of my life. While the fucking noise outside dissipates, I do want to talk a little bit about this. I know that it's weird that I just spent a little bit of way too long kind of ranting about how disappointed I am in this show, and how it feels like a Grave Valley version of the game, and how much I overall hate it. And now we're watching it and I'm smiling and I'm like, I like the acting. Oh yeah, that's cool. I know that it might seem weird. I think the show started off very strong. I think it had a really good start with this. I really liked this. It feels like something that is The Last of Us. It feels like part of The Last of Us. I like the acting in the scene. It feels like a very natural conversation. It feels like I'm watching an actual fucking show with people, and I like that they're getting right into the cordyceps thing, and I like the explanation that they provide. In the game, it's not cordyceps evolving to be able to, they're gonna explain it in a little bit here, but in the game it's not the cordyceps infection evolving to be able to infect warmer bodies because of global warming. It's not that. In the game it's very vague. It doesn't really tell you. It kind of just, the most information you can get is the fact that it's like a new species or a new subspecies of cordyceps that infects only humans. So in this version, again, I like the explanation that they give it. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's probably something similar in the game. That would be my headcanon. However, this implies that it doesn't only infect humans, that it infects like any warm body, at least as warm as the human body or colder, you know? I don't know. So obviously in the game that doesn't happen. Only humans get infected with this new subspecies. It's not it evolving. So, but regardless, I do like this explanation. Again, I like the idea. I like the explanation. It's cool. Yeah, overall I think the show had a really good, strong start with this, and then it went downhill.
True, fungi cannot survive if its host's internal temperature is over 94 degrees, and currently there
are no reasons for fungi to evolve to be able to withstand higher temperatures. But what if that were to change? What if the world were to get slightly warmer?
I like these shots of people. You imagine them getting infected. It's cool.
There's no preventatives, no cures.
They don't exist. It's not even possible to make them.
I think here we get the intro with the beautiful theme song of The Last of Us. I don't love the visuals of the intro. It's kind of just okay. But I love the song. One of my favorite songs of all time. And fun fact, the original intro of the first game, where they show something similar to this but a little bit less CGI, they show like a bunch of fungus growing, and I always thought that that was CGI too, but no, it's real. They grew fungus. They had people grow fungus and like time lapse it. I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. That's in the game, obviously, not here. And yeah, they did a change in the timing. So the infection here takes over. Like Outbreak Day is in 2003 instead of 2013. And here we have an interesting choice, I think, which was to have it start out with the morning of Outbreak Day instead of that night, that very night when Sarah is waiting for Joel to get back from work because it's his birthday. Instead of that, we're starting off in the morning. I don't necessarily oppose to the idea. I think episode 1 is mostly good, mostly okay. There's a lot of it that's good. I remember watching this first episode and I was like, okay, it's okay so far, you know, like I'm not hating this. And then episode 2 came out and I was like, oh, but we'll get to that. But yeah, I don't necessarily oppose to the idea of changing, like adding a little bit of context here. I understand it is a show and not a game, so it's gonna be different. I get that. We'll talk about Joel. We'll talk about Sarah too. Obviously, she's characterized a lot more here than in the game, because in the game we don't see much of her. There are a few moments with Sarah that weird me out about her version in the show. Also, I do want to address the elephant in the room, which is that Sarah in the game is white, like Caucasian, like she's blonder than I am, like and in the show they made her look a little bit older, and she's black, right? Or at least to some, like I don't know the actor, I don't know if they're mixed in any way, but at the very least there's black in there, right? Personally, I don't really like, yes, I did want the characters to look like the ones in the game, but it is not my priority. So Sarah's appearance changing, Joel's appearance changing, even though Pedro Pascal really looks like Joel, in my opinion. Ellie's appearance changing a lot. It feels like a bigger change than Sarah to me. Tommy looking very different. Maria looking very different. Tess looking very different. I like that they got the original actress for Marlene. That was cute. Honestly, I'm not too sad about Tommy's actor here either, because his voice has a similar feel to the one in the game somehow. Like, he looks very different, obviously, but his voice is kind of like, that's because Tommy has a very distinct voice, but it sounds a lot like him. So, but yeah, so I know that they changed. Like, the casting in terms of appearance leaves a lot to be desired, but it is not the priority. My priority is if the actor does a good interpretation of the character, like they understand the character and the writers understand the character. Because one of my favorite things about The Last of Us is the characterization in it. I love it. It's very complex and there's a lot to analyze in it. It's just it's so good. I don't hate the characterization of Sarah here in the show. I don't love it either. It doesn't feel like Sarah exactly, but it also doesn't feel all that different, because again, we don't get to see much of Sarah in the first place, right? We don't know her that well. Joel knows her, but we don't. Not enough. We know that she's like similar to Ellie, at least to some degree. We know things about her from what Joel talks about later on.
These posters are everywhere.
I saw this right before the outbreak.
You did? Does he totally gut her by the end?
Nobody gets gutted. It's a dumb teen movie.
Who dragged you to see it then?
I don't know. Let's just stay focused, all right?
All right.
I don't think I ever told you, but Sarah and I used to take hikes like this. I think the two of you would have been good friends. I think you really would have liked her. I know she'd have liked you.
I bet I would have. Oh, cool.
What you got there?
These superhero cards. Seems like they were popular.
I think Sarah was into those for a while. What was those little creature thing? I forget.
Did you go to museums a lot?
Yeah. Yeah, Sarah loved him. I swear that girl dragged me to every damn museum in Texas.
So yeah, this doesn't not feel like Sarah. It just feels like Sarah if she were older, I guess, if that makes any sense. I don't need the whiteness of Sarah to be protected, or the whiteness of Tommy and Joel to be protected. Well, I don't know if Pedro is white. I don't know what he is. Like, I know he's Hispanic, but that's not a race. But at least Tommy's actor is not white. Sarah's actor is not white. Maria's actor is not white. I don't care. I don't need the whiteness to be protected. I don't think it's something that needs protecting. I like the representation in this show. I like it. We'll talk about it later, but I also like the disability representation in it. And there's a couple of like extra things that I think stand well on their own. Again, I would have really liked if the characters looked like the characters, but I can look past it as long as they do a good job at acting, and as long as the writers let them breathe in their character and let them have a good understanding of the character. And I think that's where the problem lies in the show. Not that much with Sarah, more so with other characters. I like that Joel immediately goes for the coffee.
I really miss coffee.
How old are you again?
36.
36. That checks out. Joel had Sarah when he was pretty young.
I had Sarah when I was pretty young.
Ages in The Last of Us are very blurry. They don't really usually say them out loud. Like, we know Ellie's exact age at some point.
She knew my mom, and she's been looking after me. And I'm 14. Not that that has anything to do with anything.
And then we stop knowing again. And we know roughly Sam's age, too.
14? How old are you?
The same? Oh, you're 14, huh? I'm close. All right.
And we know Lev's exact age at first.
Can play cards like that? I'm 13, not 8.
Until we stop knowing. So generally, like, time in The Last of Us isn't all that. You can make estimations, but for characters like Joel, we never really truly know how old the man is. Like, again, I would agree that he's in his 30s because he did have Sarah when he was young, and so young that he did get married for a little.
Were you married?
For a while.
But he never went to college, right? Not as a student.
Have you ever been to one of these?
What, university?
Yeah.
No, not as a student, at least.
Like 20 years later into the pandemic, he is in his 50s, and by the end of part 2, he is maybe pushing 60, which, like, man, he looks good for 60. Joel only ages like fine wine. The one in the game, not Pedro. Y'all sexualize this man way too much. You know that he's a real person, right? Joel from the game, that face doesn't exist. It's like loosely based on Troy Baker's face. Joel in the game doesn't exist. That's not a real face. That's not a real body. It's imaginary. This guy, he's real. Y'all sexualize him way too much. Holy shit. Treat him like a human. He is a human. I know he's a celebrity, so you kind of forget, but he is also a person. Also, I do want to say, the banter between Joel and Sarah makes sense. I would imagine it to be sort of like that. It feels within character.
Hey, you still alive, you old fucker?
Now that I'm hearing Tommy's voice again in the show, I'm realizing, yeah.
Hey, Sarah. How you holding up, honey? Definitely the same. I thought we was having pancakes.
Like, it sounds similar, right? Kinda. It's kind of like on the same pitch, kinda. I guess. I don't know. I struggle a little with voices. I'm good with faces. Really good with faces, but voices, kind of shitty at that.
Jakarta. Where is that? Middle East? Doesn't ring a bell.
It makes sense. I like how he went to, like, look at his watch, but there's no watch there because it broke. That is, lore accurate Joel. You kept complaining about your broken watch, so I figured, you know. I also think it's very accurate that both Joel and Tommy would suck at geography like that. I like that. Makes sense. It reminds me of like the museum flashback in part 2. Kind of like how Joel has a bit of an outdated knowledge on things.
Hey, Joel, can you name all the planets?
My very educated mother just served us nice pizzas.
Did you just have a stroke?
My Mercury, very Venus, mother Mars.
Hey, Joel, guess what the first animal to go to space was?
I don't have to guess. That was a monkey.
You know how many times we've been to the moon?
Twice.
6 times.
Are you sure?
Then he kind of like asks weird ignorant questions about these things, and he doesn't know shit.
The Dimetrodon was an apex predator.
It's an apex predator.
Fuck yeah.
Where's the steering wheel?
Rovers don't use steering wheels. They use joysticks.
Huh. Hang on. Is this the real one?
But yeah, we love the himbo that Joel is.
Dadgum, girl, you are smart.
I have to say, the Halcyon Drops shirt that she's wearing, like Sarah's, I like that. I would have that shirt if I knew where to get it. Fun fact, Halcyon Drops was the name that Neil's kid gave their doll when they were really young. So when they were thinking of a band name, Neil was like, oh, I know. Here's a scene that I don't understand. Like, yeah, I get that. The broken watch, the money to fix it. But this is what I don't understand. The knife. Like, why? What was the point of that scene? I need someone to explain that to me. What the fuck was that? That never comes up again. Like, or am I stupid? Legitimately, am I stupid? Like, what's the thing with the knife? Sarah never had like a thing with knives or anything like that. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Put that out.
Happy birthday to you.
Tommy smoking. Tommy smoking. Tommy smoking. I don't know. I don't know that he would smoke. I don't know. Never once have I seen him smoke. I guess I wouldn't be completely out of character, but it's just, it feels, nah. Tommy smoking. Why? No. Yeah, and then we get, yeah, Desert Storm combat veteran. So they're making Tommy a veteran, right? This is supposed to be Tommy's, which, like, we have no way of knowing. He could be a veteran. We know that Joel isn't. Tommy could be. It's up to interpretation, I guess. I personally, I don't know. I guess I'm not completely against the idea. I guess it could make sense. We know that Joel is good at fighting, but like, because he becomes good, he's not like, you know, the most precise sharpshooter or anything like that. He's just aggressive and cold and ruthless, right? But Tommy's different. Tommy is a sharpshooter. He is like, he could be trained. That's all I'm saying. I'm not completely against it. Yeah, September 26th. Yeah, I remember that. So, like, I guess this person is supposed to be twitching like a clicker. I mean, really, no, there are no symptoms that show up until you turn. Unless you're inhaling spores, which is, like, you'll start coughing. And, like, we know the symptoms, but they're not just starting to twitch while you look completely normal and you're paying attention. You still have control over your body, kinda. I understand why they did it here, but you kind of just, from 1 minute to the other kind of thing. She's getting the watch fixed, which canonically, yeah. Slowly things are going to shit.
We're done for today.
This isn't about The Last of Us, this is just, you can see the subtitles here. It bothers me when that just goes like, speaking foreign language or speaking XYZ language, like speaking Arabic. Fucking put what they're saying then. Don't just say like, oh, I don't fucking know what they're saying. They're just speaking a different language that's not English. How am I supposed to fucking get someone to translate it or at least transcribe it, man? Don't just put, I don't know, it bothers me. It's like when YouTube captions, like someone says a swear word and the captions just put it in like a blank. It's like, put the fucking swear word, man. Like, why do you need to protect, like, I don't know, if there's a deaf person watching the video and they can't hear it, why are you protecting them from the profanity? Just put the fucking word in. I don't know.
You should go home.
Meanwhile, seemingly in the game, Sarah got no, like, warning, right? She didn't get the, like, all this foreshadowing. It just happened from one minute to the other. It mostly happened while she was asleep. But in the show, she's getting all these warning signs and all these red flags. And I don't know, the whole day's been weird.
People out there need to get right with Jesus. 3 nails.
Ah, yes.
1 cross equals 4 given.
I don't know what the fuck that means. You'll see. Yeah, here. Then you get to see the grandma in the background. And that is so creepy. That is so cool. Look at her. The mouth opening. That is so cool. It's silly upon a second watch, I have to admit. But the first time I saw it, I was like, dude, that's dope. Yeah. Is that Fedra? Is that supposed to be Fedra? Oh yeah, this is Austin. That they got right. It is Austin, Texas. Which, like, we'll talk about this later. Way later. But I don't get why they made Joel have, like, the political attitude that he has here and there. Because in the game, you know, and he's from Austin. It's not like he's from some other part of Texas. I don't know. I have a lot of issues with the characterization of Joel in this show. So this is supposed to mirror kinda the very first scene in the game. She turns the TV off.
It's 10.
Which is, he's supposed to be the one that's like, oh, it's way too late, you know, like, because in the game she had fallen asleep waiting for him. He gets there, he's on the phone with Tommy, he's talking about a contractor because he works for these people, and you can see around his house like plans for building, and I don't know how these jobs work all that well, so someone fill me in on how the fuck that works. But yeah, he's on the phone with Tommy. He sees Sarah on the couch. He's like, we'll talk about it in the morning. Sarah wakes up and he's like, scoot. He sits next to her and he's, you know, admittedly with the same attitude. It's not 10, it's like almost midnight. And Joel is the one to tell Sarah that it's late because Sarah says, fun day at work, huh? And Joel says, what are you still doing up? Sarah says, oh crud, what time is it? It's way past your bedtime. But it's still today. But here, she's the one telling him it's 10 and she's very much awake.
Eyes for the headers.
Alright.
Swear. You don't get your present.
You got me a present?
Swear.
All my life.
See, and here, he's excited about the present. In the game, he's like, no, honey, I don't have the energy for this. And she pulls out the present, and he, like, reluctantly takes it, and then, like, starts to realize, like, oh shit, this is actually pretty sweet of you to do. This is really cute. He takes out the watch, blah, blah, blah. But here, he's excited about it. Okay. And if I remember correctly, they did... What is his face? What does that face mean? Here, there are moments where they had the characters kind of say the same thing word for word, like in the game. I think this is one of those because it's such an iconic moment.
Did you?
What?
I don't hear anything.
I mean, not word for word, but yeah, honey, this is nice, but I think it's stuck. It's not. And she's like, no. Oh, ha. And he kind of like chuckles a little bit. But this is far more. Joel is being a lot more expressive here. He's being a lot louder, which already feels not that Joelish.
Where'd you get the money for this?
Where did you get the money for this?
Drugs.
Where'd you get the money for this?
I sell hardcore drugs.
I sell hardcore drugs. Okay, so they had those like 2-3 lines, and then they switched again. But I'm so used to Sarah's, like, also Joel. Joel here doesn't really have a southern accent. Pedro doesn't really pull it off. I don't know if he tries to, but either way, he doesn't have it. But I'm so used to both of them having southern accents, especially Sarah. She has a very thick southern accent, so she goes like, drugs. I sell hardcore drugs. Oh good. Start helping out with the mortgage then. You wish. You know, we cut to her falling asleep again, and he carries her to bed. If I remember correctly, yeah, I was gonna say he thanks her, which he doesn't.
There's one more.
And this is completely made up, but is it Curtis and Viper? It's Curtis. I remember that. It's fucking Curtis and Viper, which is like, it's just the show giving you a callback to the second game, which is, admittedly, it gets me all giddy. Cause Joel loves Curtis and Viper. He's really into these cheesy 80s action movies.
He's really into them. Oh no.
I want to see if it's his favorite one. His favorite one is the fourth. The more the merrier.
Hey, look, Joel. It's your favorite.
I need to see it.
Yeah,
No, it's Curtis and Viper too. This time it's a family affair. Dude, I need that in my house. I need that in my possession. Same with the fourth one, or like the poster for the fourth one. So Curtis and Viper 2. This is the one that he was gonna watch with Ellie before he went golfing.
Thinking of inviting Joel to watch a movie?
What movie you guys gonna watch? What's Joel into?
Curtis and Viper 2. That's the one that's been on my radar for a while.
Oh, wow.
Oh, this is the one with the deleted scenes.
Yeah.
The sequel the world's been waiting for. Yeah, we cut to her falling asleep, just like in the thing. But I like the callback to Curtis and Viper. I forgot about that. That is a delightful surprise. And here he has the conversation with Tommy about him being in jail.
Yeah?
Because he fought an infected person, I think? Yeah.
Which jail? Travis County?
Travis County.
No getting into Travis County.
See, this doesn't... I don't need to say it. This doesn't happen. Idiot. Also, this might be me hyper nitpicking. Well, okay, it's not hyper nitpicking to say this doesn't happen, because, like, it doesn't happen at all. Tommy just never goes to jail for that. It makes sense on its own, again, in a void. Outside of The Last of Us, makes sense. I don't know why they put it in here. But what is me maybe hyper nitpicking is the fact that he says, fuck.
God damn it, Tommy.
God damn it, makes sense. There he goes, fucking idiot. Now, this is me hyper nitpicking. Joel doesn't often say fuck.
Fucking hunters.
Fucking rats.
Jesus Christ, you're a fucking bummer, you know that?
Fuckers are everywhere. Fuck. Not a fucking word.
His own individual and cultural background and historical background that he has, he just doesn't say fuck or fucking as much as he loves saying goddamn.
Goddamn fireflies.
Damn ceiling's falling apart. Be careful.
God damn it. Clicker.
They're here.
Damn it.
Damn, this is heavier than I thought. It's pretty goddamn stupid.
I'll pop your goddamn knee off. Be done with this whole damn thing.
And shit.
Holy shit. Shit. I got more soldiers.
Fuckers?
Shit. Go.
Okay, double time.
Shit.
Shit, he's turning!
That's the way that he swears the most. Now, would it be possible if Tommy did get in jail? Would Joel say fucking idiot? He probably would. I'm just saying. I'm just hyper nitpicking. The man didn't even say fuck when he was getting his fucked up knee tourniqueted. He didn't say fuck when he was getting tortured. He said god damn it.
God damn it!
Because he's so southern.
Jesus, boy.
What I'm trying to say is, he doesn't usually say fuck. Good night, baby girl. Why didn't... Yo! I forgot about that! That is blasphemy. Wait, I need to rewind. Does he really not say it? What the fuck? No good night, baby girl. Blasphemy. How dare? Like, that is a... I'm starting to get... No good night, baby girl? Are you serious? And he kisses her instead of tucking her hair behind her ear. That's fine, but no good night, baby girl? What is wrong with you? That is blasphemy. Shame. But yeah, like, essentially, she wakes up to that instead of to Tommy ringing the phone and telling her that he needs to talk to Joel. Oh, a guitar. Yeah, he does have a guitar.
Some folks call this thing here a guitar.
Yeah, we get the national alert thingy instead of the News. And there is a similar thing to this with the dog. In the game, you kind of just hear a dog barking, and then the next time you go past the window, you just hear the dog getting killed, and Sarah gets scared, and you see it like a swing outside moving. I remember that in the show, they made runners very fast, which like they are, but they made them like super clumsy, like they just get over everything and they just tumble and all that. And if I remember correctly, she finds the old man. Yeah, she almost slips on the blood, and there's the old man, and he's just like, help me, or something like that. And there's the grandma just munching. And here we get to see like this thing that they introduce with the tendrils.
Get in the truck! Right now!
Sorry. Joel going like, get in the truck now! Why is that so funny to me? Is Tommy gonna kill it with the brick like he does in the game? Obviously it's not with a grandma. Obviously they're in the middle of a street and they've already crashed the car. But is Joel gonna kill it with the... I don't remember. Tommy has a firearm. He just does now. So it's Joel this time that does that. Why would you drop that? Keep it, man. Joel, my man, you will learn very soon to keep those things on you until they break. Especially now that they're more durable than they will be in 20 years. You will keep that melee weapon on you. Like a fucking wrench? Yeah, that's in the game. And it is cool that Tommy has the rifle. He has a rifle, I believe. Yeah, it's a rifle. It's his, like it has the scope and everything. That's Tommy's rifle.
Baby, I'm sorry.
Joel.
Yeah, so Sarah has that reaction to Joel shooting Jimmy Cooper. Favorite character. One of their neighbors, but he's like just a random dude. Joel gets in and he's like taking his revolver out because he's a gringo. He's like loading it and he's warning Sarah, and then Jimmy gets in, breaks through the sliding door that they have in this like studio. Joel warns Jimmy, who has no control over his body anymore, and Joel shoots him in the chest. Jimmy goes down. Joel looks back at Sarah and Sarah's like, you shot him. And Joel is like, listen, something very bad is going on and I'm gonna need to get us out of here. Right? I'm seeing that they're gonna have that conversation now instead of with Jimmy Cooper.
Says, listen, it's not just the Adlers. We're gonna be brave, and we're gonna be brave.
Essentially the same conversation, but Sarah's a lot more distraught.
Joel! Denise, you get back inside the house! You locked...
Fucking Denise, man. Get back in the house. Dude. Joel being like just yelling at people is so funny to me. Denise, you dumbass. Yeah. Okay. And I do remember seeing this and being like, oh my god, it's just like in the game, oh my god. Except when it's not, right? This scene is a pretty good adaptation.
It's a virus, some kind of parasite. Some sort of parasite or something.
It is not a virus. And I don't know that this is the show claiming it's a virus or just the show being like, no, it's just people not knowing what they're dealing with yet. Because a virus and a fungal infection, obviously two different things, right? I don't need to explain that.
Is it from terrorists?
In the game, she never says that.
Are we sick?
No, of course not.
Are we sick?
No, of course not.
Why did things blow up?
So some lines are from the game and some are not. Are we sick? No, of course not. That's from the game. Sarah saying why did things blow up? Completely new and original to the show. No cell phone, no radio. That is from the game.
No radio. A minute ago, newsman wouldn't shut up.
How do you know?
That is also from the game.
Cell phone, no radio. Yeah, we're doing great. A minute ago, newsman wouldn't shut up.
Okay, they're elaborating on the sickness, but they're kind of like intertwining those two conversations.
Saying it's mostly people in the city.
They're saying it's mostly people in the city.
They said it's just people in the city.
Didn't Jimmy work in the city?
We're good.
Didn't Jimmy work in the city?
Jimmy's place.
Yeah, now that's Jimmy's place.
That's Lewis's farm.
Hope that son of a bitch made it out.
I hope that son of a bitch made it out.
You'd have to go a lot, right?
We're fine, trust me.
So now it's Tommy that reassures her that they're fine. Originally it's Joel. He says, we're fine, trust me. And she's like, okay. I like that we're getting into this because these are actual scenes from the game that I can give a lot more commentary on. Yeah. What are you doing? So do we. Keep driving. We could put them in the back as new, but essentially, yeah. What are you doing? We've got a kid, Joel. So do we. Keep driving. And they go like, no, stop. And Joel's like, someone else will come. And Sarah just goes, we should have helped him.
Somebody else will come along.
Yep.
Fuck! Everybody had the same fucking idea.
Oh, this is bad. Everyone and their mother had the same damn idea.
Can't get through. All right,
let's think it through. Cut across and pick up on the west side. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember they go through the field, which is completely new, but that would have been the part where someone comes out of the car and they go like, hey, what the fuck, man, let's go. A runner from the hospital in a hospital gown goes and attacks the person. Joel like starts urging Tommy to move because he doesn't want Sarah to get hurt. You drive to the right, but to a different road. You don't go into the field. The runner kind of bumps into the window directly on Sarah's left side.
This can work. Yeah, but then what? I don't know. Mexico.
Mexico. Not this Joel, but Joel from the games, he's welcome here in Mexico anytime.
Maybe there's nowhere to go.
This is new. This is new. The show kind of reiterates the fact that it's not just the US, you know, it's other places. And then they show you like things in other parts of the world. Like I remember they show Indonesia, where what they were talking about earlier. But I think that's at the beginning of episode 2. It is true that the first game is a bit US centric. It does talk about Mexico, the second game.
You want to keep going? Just drive all the way to Mexico?
I've thought about it.
I could see Manny's hometown.
I mean, if I'd lived pre-outbreak, yeah, I'd go see the whole country.
Or travel to another country.
Maybe one day we will.
Keep dreaming.
Jesse talked a lot about going to Canada. He said there's these, like, giant waterfalls out there he wanted to see.
Okay. And where would we go?
West. See what's out there.
It's nothing but ocean.
And past it?
Other countries, I guess. You want to do that?
Why not?
Good question.
But most of The Last of Us is very US-centric. That is very true. And then the turbine crashes into them, right? Or something like that. I can't drive through them, Joel.
I can't fucking drive through them, Joel! Alright, keep going.
I hate that. The show was like, oh hey, you remember the car crash with another car? Yeah, no.
Can't stop here. I can't drive through them.
Yeah,
Serious?
mostly from the game. They're behind me too.
They're behind me too!
You know, hold on. And then the turbine. Yeah, so I did remember correctly. It's not a car crash, it's the fucking turbine. I don't know what the point of that was. I don't know why they couldn't just keep it a car crash. So here is where Joel, at least in the game, he gets his famous nose scar, which is very hot. And Sarah's leg is broken here. I think they show it?
Don't look.
Sarah, don't look because her leg. Yeah, I can see it.
Are you okay? Are you okay? My ankle. We gotta get off the
It's not your ankle. I saw your leg.
I'm here, baby. I'm here. Come on, give me your hand. What is it?
My leg hurts.
How bad?
Pretty bad.
We're gonna need to run. Tommy! Tommy!
So here they're separated for some, like they're separated this way instead of the other way.
Get to the highway! What? Go! You got Sarah! I cannot run him!
Uncle Tommy?
I will meet you there!
Okay. You don't look anywhere else.
Aww. I do have to admit that's cute. I need Joel from the game to carry me like that. They made the zombies here more like zombies than infected, if that makes any sense. They made them more like Hollywood. The whole like, oh, I'm gonna stare at you and be creepy for a moment, and then I'm gonna sprint out of nowhere. In the game, they're more animalistic. They see you, they immediately run at you. They don't take a moment to be creepy. You can smell the Hollywood is all I'll say. And yeah, I remember the runner here kind of just like falls over stuff. Which is a bit exaggerated. I forgot how exaggerated it was. And then he gets shot by the soldier. It's okay, baby, we're safe. We're safe.
You're safe.
You're safe. Oh.
My daughter's hurt. Her ankle.
Stop right there!
We need help. Stop! Please. It's my daughter. I think her leg is broken.
Stop right there!
Okay. Easy now.
We're not sick.
I got 2 civilians by
We're not sick.
the river, one of them injured.
Please advise.
Got a couple of civilians in the outer perimeter. Please advise.
Ankle.
What about Uncle Tommy? Daddy, what about Uncle Tommy?
Well, we're gonna get you to somewhere. We're gonna get you to safety, and then we'll go back for him, okay?
Okay.
I'm sorry, repeat. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, I don't like what they did here because they made it so much harder to understand, for me at least. If I hadn't played the game, I would have been like, okay, what do those yes sirs mean, you know? Obviously he shoots at them and it's like you connect the dots, but at least for me, because I struggle with tone. Meanwhile in the game, I know it might be less realistic, maybe, but he says, "Sir, there's a little girl." But yes, sir. You think, okay, what the fuck are they telling him to do, you know? Are they telling him to kill them? And he's hesitating because there's a kid. He goes, but, and he gets interrupted, and then he just has to follow orders. Here, he just goes, yes, sir, 3 times, man. It just, whatever.
We're not sick.
See, like, in this moment, Joel immediately goes like, oh shit, and he just tries to run away. He doesn't insist they're not sick.
I'm sorry.
Why would he apologize now instead of just hesitating for, like, that sorry just feels, huh? Tommy shoots him with the rifle instead of with a revolver. Joel's hurt. He's grazed. Makes sense. I'm guessing in the game he also got grazed and they just didn't show it. Because I don't know how, like, I know that his watch got shot. And here's a famous scene, which I like it so much better in the game. I'm sorry.
Okay. You're okay. You're okay. Move your hand, baby. Move your hand. No. I know, baby. I know. I know it hurts. I gotta get you up, okay? I gotta get you up. You come on. I know, baby. No, I know. Tommy, help me!
See, I feel like an asshole for saying this, but I like how dramatic it is. In the game, it's a very good scene. It's one of the best scenes in games I've ever seen. In premise, essentially, it's actually pretty simple, but I really like the execution and the process of shooting it and how it was for the actors, especially Joel's actor, Troy Baker. So originally, the scene was gonna be kind of just as dramatic as this. Joel was gonna be yelling a lot more and he was gonna be speaking more frantically, like, I know, Tommy, help me, you know, shit like that. And then when Sarah died, he was gonna be wailing and all that.
I lose my shit. I mean, just completely break down.
Don't do this, please, God, no. Oh, God, no.
Essentially, the original scene was gonna be far more dramatic. It took them a lot of shooting to do it.
It was the first take, and I felt really good about it. And it's like, Neil said, okay, let's do it again. And we go through it again in 5th and 6th and 7th take, and I'm just exhausted.
It was very emotionally and physically exhausting for Troy and for Sarah's actress. Why am I blanking on her name right now? It was an arduous day of shooting.
You could feel the energy just like drop a little bit more.
It was brutal.
I'm crying between takes. And I'm looking at Neil going, this is really, really hard.
And it was something that Troy Baker needed a warning on like a week in advance because he knew that it was going to be very harsh emotionally to shoot that scene.
Well, Neil is like, when that day comes for us to shoot that, I need a heads up. About a week before, he said, it's time. We're going to do that scene. I was like, okay.
And then, you know, they shot it and they were like, okay, sure, we got it.
Finally, after like the 8th or 9th take, he said, all right, I think we got it. I was like, oh, thank God.
But it didn't feel right to Neil. They went on for a while and then, you know, he went up to Troy Baker and he was like, we gotta reshoot a scene. And Troy's like, what scene? And Neil's like, you're gonna hate me. And Troy's like, no, come on, man, please.
Then 2 weeks later, he calls me. And he says, so we need to reshoot a scene. I'm like, cool, what scene are we doing? And he just looks at me. I said, dude, don't do this to me.
And so they had to reshoot again this scene. You know, they started doing a couple of them. It was still dramatic.
Okay, all right. You don't think you got it? I'm gonna show you that you got it. We've got it in the can. And so we go through it again, and it just feels fake, it feels artificial. And Neil goes, go through it again. We start doing it again. And I'm getting madder and madder with each take.
Neil kind of like, you know, took Troy aside for a moment.
And finally, about the 4th take, Neil comes over to me, and I love him so much. He goes, So I'm picking up on some resistance. I was like, you're damn right you're picking up on some resistance. We've got this in the can already, and we're just wasting our time, and we're wasting all this effort and energy.
You need to strip yourself off of these ideas that you have about this scene.
And then he started talking me through the scene. And he was like, what I need you to do is I need you to just strip yourself of all these ideas.
I need you to just do the first beat, then the second beat, third, then the fourth, and we're done. I just need you to do the scene, step by step.
And I need you to hit this beat, and this beat, and this beat, and this beat, which just makes it sound so mechanical, and it's such an emotional scene. So we start going through it, and literally I am mindlessly doing these things at this point. And he stops, he goes, now we got it.
Troy himself admitted, which is something that I admire about him, he admitted that the first times that they shot that scene, he was trying to go for something that would get him praise. He was like, I want people, when they see this scene, when they see my acting, I want people to go like, wow, what a great actor.
And I realized that the reason why I wanted that first take to work was because I wanted everyone to look at me and go, wow, what an actor. And that's not what the scene needed. That scene actually works, not because of me, but in spite of me.
He just did the scene, didn't do all that bullshit, and it came out perfect. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't too much, it wasn't too little, too long, too short. It was perfect. It was just the perfect amount of panic and the perfect amount of shock and silence and just not dramatic wailing or dramatic, help me, Tommy, but just looking at Tommy. And then you look back and she's dead. And that is the moment that traumatizes Joel. So I don't like how dramatic they did it here. I have to say, I don't like how dramatic it is.
Joel,
Tommy also
baby,
doesn't say anything.
Come on, get up. Come on, baby girl.
I think episode 1 is mostly good. It's a bit too dramatic for my taste. And here we get like a random kid walking through the woods, right? And they've been bit. And the first thing, I get it. The first thing we see of them is their shoes, because later on we'll see their body and the body will have those shoes. Time to full infection. If infecting wound is located on, I see. They're saying that depending on the area, it will take longer or shorter amount of time for it to get to your brain, I guess. I mean, it makes sense, but I know in the game it's not like that, because Tess gets bit in the around the collarbone area, and she lasts at least an hour before she decides to essentially take her own life.
I was bitten an hour ago and it's already worse.
Definitely longer than 5 to 15 minutes. And Sam gets bit on the leg, and it takes him less than 12 to 24 hours to turn. I'd argue it's like 8-9 hours it takes him, at least, if not less. It makes sense. It makes sense, but it's not like that in the game. It's the same with every spot in the body. Also, it can take longer than 24 hours, right? It takes up to... No, everyone turns within 2 days. You stop bullshitting. So it can last longer than 24 hours, if I remember correctly. Safety begins with you.
Remember, inaction costs lives.
It seems like the show is treating it like a more gradual kind of process, when in the game it's very... You don't see the process, you just see people before they turn, after they turn. So yeah, they're gonna kill this kid because they've got an infection. Right here. Yeah, so that is accurate. The thing, it is kind of in this area, like right behind the ear, under it. They kind of just hold it here, and it does click. It would make sense that it pinches. In the game, they never express, like no one ever says ow when they're being checked, but I'm guessing it does pinch. Like there is something going in and out of you. Right? And then you get the legacy on it, like you get the positive or negative reading on it. That is one of those infection scanners that Fedra have. I was gonna say this earlier and I forgot. Fedra is the FEMA of the Last of Us universe. So it shows red, which where you see the positive thingy, it shows in green. And I've never seen a negative reading. I don't know what it looks like. It never shows. It only shows you what the positive one looks, because Joel looks at it and it's green, and it just says in like a yellow font, it just flashes positive. Yeah, so I'm guessing it shows red because the kid is positive. But here we're gonna see Joel. That's him right there. Dude, this is my second time watching and I know this so well. What the fuck? I don't even like the fucking show. That's the Joel reveal, I guess. And Joel sees that it's a kid, and Joel's the one to throw them into the... Yeah, we get it, the shoes. Jesus. And we see how much Joel has changed as a person, I guess. We're supposed to be seeing that. Personally, I like that the very first time we see Joel after the 20 years is that he's ready to torture some guy for guns, and he's just ready to go right into the violence of it. I'm hearing what I just heard, but we're hearing the you and me version of the Last of Us theme. But I don't like that we're hearing it here, just because I know where it's supposed to play, and it's not here, because this scene doesn't exist. It's supposed to play when Joel and Ellie are waiting for Tess, and Joel's just woken up from a nightmare, and they have a little conversation there. That's where it plays. Yep. In the original game, when you go out and you see like how much the world has changed, and you kind of like, you see the torn US flags and you see the soldiers on the rooftops and everything, you don't hear the song. I believe you hear a version of All Gone, at least for a little bit. We get a little bit of All Gone because that is the loss motif. And they're hanging people, which just... Well, are they? Yeah, they are hanging them. That's just not a thing. This dude looks like an NPC from the second game. Yeah, here we see Joel contrabanding, smuggling pills, which he does do.
How are we doing with the vehicle? All set. Set to get one last guy in the depot to buy in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about this. Fuck. Okay, there's another thing that bothers me. We'll get into it. But yeah, the pill smuggling, like, yeah, Joel, he was a smuggler, and he did smuggle pills. I just don't think he did it with Fedra. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he did. Probably not his main clients, though. Oh yeah, and this is supposed to be Robert, right? Which, like, he kinda looks like Robert, I guess, but he looks way less intimidating. Well, Robert doesn't look intimidating, but he's like, this guy just looks like a good old Irish fella. I don't know how to explain it. Doesn't look like he knows the streets. He looks like he has a potato farm. Like he gets tipsy with one beer. I don't know. He doesn't look like Robert. He's got Tess, which, like, okay, we're getting into it. Tess. So this is supposed to be an event that we didn't see in the game, but that did happen in the game, sorta. In the game, Tess comes back from being jumped by two guys who were sent by Robert.
What matters is that Robert fucking sent them.
Because Robert owes them guns. He sold them to the Fireflies.
I owed the Fireflies.
What?
But originally, this doesn't happen with Robert there. It happens with two of his guys, and Tess just gets jumped by them. It's nothing more than that. They were a couple of nobodies.
Look, they were a couple of nobodies. They don't matter.
And if I remember correctly here, she's gonna be like a fucking 19-year-old piece of shit.
A 19-year-old piece of shit.
But here, Robert is interrogating Tess, and I have to say, Tess's attitude here, nothing like Tess. I don't know what they did with Tess. She thinks she's her, but she's not.
Sister, is this you right here in this alley?
Sister, if you see a bitch in the alley with a bad bob, that is not me. Go the other way.
Who is this?
It's just a truck battery. I paid you for it.
See, it's weird. I don't know what they did to Tess. I mean, they made her more cynical. What happened to Tess, man? She was such a badass. And yeah, they changed... Yeah, so instead of guns, it's a truck battery. You see how, like, we've been going downhill.
So are we good?
And it's weird that, like, Robert's just being like, my guys fucked you up, you know? Come on, I need you to forgive me.
Oh, shit! Get back! Get the fuck back!
We just want to talk, Robert.
We got fucking nothing to talk about!
Put your gun down!
Go fuck yourself!
Supposed to be the explosion from the Fireflies, right?
Get out of here, Joe! Close it on! Fireflies! Fucking shoot them! They're running!
Joe, come on, let's get out of here.
I think Robert dies on his own. I don't remember he dies there. I don't think he did. Robert like dies on his own later instead of by being tortured and shot by Joel and Tess. Oh, here we get... Oh man, I was dreading this. I keep dreading things more and more. So here we have Ellie. Oh, Ellie. What have they done to you? So, listen, I like Bella Ramsey as a person. I think they're a pretty good actor. I saw them on Game of Thrones. They were pretty good there. Same with Pedro Pascal. I've seen them both act in other things, and they are pretty good. They just... I don't know whether to blame the actors or the writers or both in this, but babe, these are just not Joel and Ellie. And that was not Tess, and that was not Robert. Sarah was kinda Sarah-ish. Again, there isn't much to Sarah, so it's not hard to just have a scared kid. Ellie is such a complex fucking character, and they butchered her so bad here. It makes me so sad. They also butchered Joel, but not as badly. They took away so much from Ellie. We'll talk about it as we go. Yeah, they're testing her to see if she has the infection thing, and she's a brat. Like, I'm sorry to say, Ellie's a brat. She's not a brat in the game. Sure, she's a teenager. Sometimes she acts up and she does things that are a bit annoying. But she's a fucking human being, right? You still feel for her. Here, she's just a dick. She's just a dick to people, man.
5.
Oh, here, no, forgot about this. Are you ready for the cringiest fucking scene I've ever seen in my life? Are you ready for that?
6, 7, 8. You.
I think episode 1 is mostly good. Oh no.
State your name, slowly.
Veronica.
Yeah, she does the whole like fake name thing for no reason.
Hey, people are gonna come looking for me. People from Fedra, you hear me? Let me out or you're gonna pay, motherfuckers!
What is wrong with you?
Oh, Bella, what the fuck was that?
Fuck away from her! Let her... Shit. What happened?
Here we go. Here we go. Okay, here's the plot point that I fucking hate.
It hasn't been that long. It's been 3 weeks. It's never taken more than a day to respond. Show me where the tower is.
So, excuse me, what? In the game, Joel and Tommy part ways. Marlene gives you a notion, you know, the game's like, oh, hey, remember Tommy, that guy at the beginning? He's still alive. Joel and Tommy have had a fight and they don't talk anymore. And then we know, later on in Fall, Joel explains how they had a falling out.
So clearly something went down.
They just had a bit of a disagreement, that's all.
Ah, here we go.
And, you know, he says, Tommy saw the world one way, I saw it the other. I believe his last words to me were, I don't ever want to see your goddamn face again. And we also learned that Tommy was a Firefly for a bit, with Marlene.
Yeah, your friend Marlene promised him hope.
Until he left.
For a while, but just like Tommy, he eventually quit that too.
Showing him here, just all worried about Tommy and just wanting to go to Tommy no matter what, like without really a reason. He never fucking did that. He never would have done that. The only reason why he goes back to Tommy is to ask him where the Fireflies are now and for Tommy to take Ellie with him so that Joel can not be vulnerable again. But he doesn't just go to Tommy out of nowhere. We know that Joel resents Tommy for a while. You know, when Marlene mentions it, he's like, was that before or after he left your little militia group? Joel never would have done all this just to get info on Tommy for no reason.
Well, then we go find Tommy.
Marlene said he's your brother?
And more importantly, he was a Firefly. He know where to take you.
Okay.
He lives far from here, which is why we need the car.
And here we get like a little bit of confirmation that Joel and Tess were in a relationship. I do think that's canon. I think Joel and Tess fucked at least once, man, come on. And here we see, I think we see Joel mixing pills and alcohol, which we never saw him do in the game. We never saw Joel struggling with alcoholism or drug taking at all.
Want one?
No, I don't want one.
God, I want to hug Joel like that. And here we see an attempt at Tess's more iconic outfit, I guess.
I got jumped by a couple guys. What guys? It's miracle you're alive. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I need you to take a breath. What? Joe? What? The guys who jumped me were with Robert. He sold our battery to someone else.
What happened to Tess, man? She's the one calming him down? Are we kidding ourselves? Dude, need I remind you how the original scene goes? She was the one that wanted to go after Robert. She was the one that was like, oh, let's go for Robert. And Joel was kind of just following after her. We know that Joel was Tess's bitch. Joel was her bitch. She was carrying him on a leash. She called the shots. He was just the muscle. And it's not like she was all that dainty to begin with.
It's a bit heavy.
I think I can handle it.
All right.
But he was just there, like, to do her bidding. She wanted him to break a guy's arm, he would break the guy's arm. Which, like, God, I wish. Here she's just... Like, I'm not the only one that notices this, right? Where's the badass Tess that I know? Tess was the one leading the attack on Robert. Sure, Joel was annoyed too, but Tess was the one that was fucking furious about it. Why is Tess calming Joel down here? It feels a bit sexist.
Well, I have some interesting news for you.
Where were you, Tess?
West End District. Hey, we had a drop to make.
We had a drop to make.
Well, you wanted to be left alone, remember?
Truck's no good without one, and if I don't get to Tommy soon, he's gonna die out there. Okay, fuck it, Joel. Listen, Robert is terrified of you. So you march out of here all Clint Eastwood, he's gonna get wind of it and skip.
You know he's expecting us.
Well, that'll make it more interesting.
I need you to take a breath.
Where is he?
Don't know.
Bitch, please.
Son of a bitch, he's smart.
No. He's not smart enough. I know where he's hiding.
We'll find out quietly.
Quietly.
How do you know they're coming? 2 of our guys died trying to take Tess out. I guarantee that she and Joel are on their way here right now to get Robert. Jesus. We shouldn't have taken this job.
Let's be quiet about it, understand, Joel? Let's be calm about it. But like, why is she calming him down? Why does he want to go find Tommy? Why does she want to be quiet about it? You remember how she is originally about it? You remember that scene where she just, you know, they just walk right in. They just walk right into Robert's zone and they find these 3 guys that work for Robert. And Tess is like, we want Robert. And they're like, no, walk back. And she's like, my beef isn't with you. We just want Robert. And they're like, what? Bitch, I will bash your skull if you don't turn around and get the fuck out of here. She's like, fuck this. And she shoots the guy. She's not about going about it quietly.
We can sneak by them, even though I know that's not your style.
I just don't like it. I don't like what they've done to Tess. Tess was a good female character in The Last of Us Part 1. And she was badass. She was the one that shot people the moment they pissed her off. Like, she was the one that shot Robert in the head.
That is a stupid idea.
They even have the same outfit for her.
Marlene,
This makes sense.
We are in a war against a military dictatorship to restore democracy and freedom. Does that sound about right?
I want them as distracted as possible because tonight, every Firefly in Boston is gonna gather in this building and you're gonna leave.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Permanently.
This is essentially what it was like in the game. Just, we don't get to see that.
Holy shit. Is that your people?
What's left of them? Why do you think I'm turning to you guys? This way.
So why now?
We've been quiet. Been planning on leaving the city, but they need a scapegoat. They've been trying to rile us up.
Looks like they did.
We're trying to defend ourselves.
If you tell me to follow the light, I'm gonna break your kneecaps or something.
If you're feeling lost.
You tell me to look for the light and I'll break your jaw.
Your jaw. So this person was trying to recruit, I guess, as far as I know. That isn't how the Fireflies recruit. Like, they test people and shit like that.
Yeah.
Remember that Firefly you bit and stole his gun?
Yeah, I remember him.
That's Trevor. I saw him walking down the street, so I tailed his ass. I follow him into this alley, and all these Fireflies ambush me. They took me right to their hideout. To Marlene.
Were you scared?
Terrified. I thought this time she would actually shoot me. But instead, she just says, "What took you so long?" She was expecting me.
And she just made you a Firefly?
Something like that. That whole almost killing me thing was a test. She wanted to know I was committed. 30 days, my ass. People are getting infected all the time. They just do a good job of hiding it.
You've run into more infected?
As part of my initiation, they actually made me kill this. You know, let's talk about something else.
This makes it seem like more of a drug business. But Joel's reaction. Joel, he wasn't too into the whole Firefly thing. That is true. He was more like a little bit more bought into it later on. Joel always gave me this vibe of like fuck all these groups kind of attitude, which is Ellie's attitude by the end too. I guess not totally out of character. I don't know. Ellie, babe. Feels like they're trying to be Ellie really badly, but they're kind of overdoing it a lot. Like, I get that Ellie's supposed to have trust issues, but like, they overdo it. They just come off as edgy.
Is it gonna happen?
This doubt makes sense. Is it gonna happen? That makes sense.
Where are you gonna go? Back to Federal Military School? You that anxious to be a soldier?
You think I chose that place? They put me there when I was a baby. It's for orphans.
They didn't put you there. I did. Ellie. My name is Marlene. I'm the leader of the Fireflies in the Boston QZ.
My name is Connor. I'm the android sent by CyberLife.
You want to go to the military boarding school where you were before, where they will turn you into a soldier? Well, they put me in there when I was a baby. It's for orphans because my parents are dead. They didn't put you there. I did. Hi, Ellie. I know your name. My name is Marlene, and I'm the leader of the Fireflies. This is not The Last of Us dialogue. The Last of Us conveys so much more with so much less. Ellie knew who Marlene was before this, and she knew that Marlene wanted her in the military school because she wanted her safe there. Riley and Ellie talk about it before all this, before Ellie gets bit.
She wants you safe at that stupid school. I'm not even supposed to come see you.
Why does she care?
She's worried I'll get you into trouble.
Ellie already has some sort of relationship with Marlene. Ellie knows that Marlene knew her mom and that they were very close.
Speak of the devil.
She asks about you.
Really?
She says you remind her of your mom.
Well, she'd know more than me. So, what does Marlene say about my mom?
Not much. I gathered that they were friends even before the outbreak. Oh, and she said your mom was a nurse.
A nurse?
Apparently they argued and fought a lot, but they were close.
Essentially, they knew each other. She already knew that she was the leader of the Fireflies in Boston.
Why won't you let me go?
Ellie never would have wanted to leave Marlene's side at that point after Riley's death because Ellie didn't know where to go, where else to go. She just went to Marlene.
Were you with Marlene when you were bitten?
No. I went to her for help afterwards.
Knowing her, I'm surprised she didn't shoot you.
She almost did. Hope she's all right.
I told you. She's gonna be fine.
They already knew each other, and Ellie has abandonment issues, right? Like, that's her thing. Ellie's mother, and then Riley, and like, she doesn't want Marlene to leave her either. So why would she just be like, no, I need to go home here? Ellie doesn't have a home, and she wouldn't miss the fucking military boarding school. She clings onto Marlene. So much so that like, when she's hurt in the game, Ellie just immediately goes to defend her because she thinks that Joel and Tess are gonna hurt her. And then Marlene explains to Ellie, you know, I can't go with you guys. And Ellie says, well, then I'm staying. She doesn't want to leave Marlene because essentially she doesn't want Marlene to leave her. So this is editing Felix. It's been a few weeks at least since I recorded that. I don't remember exactly when I did it, but clearly things have changed. And I've just realized that I completely forgot to mention something that was on my mind in that one scene. So now I just want to add a little bit of my thoughts on it like this because I can't add it in text. It would be too much text, I think. Yeah, this is why I don't record in the middle of the day. I'm sorry about the background noise, man. I'm not a professional. I'm just a little guy. And it's my first day. So the American Dreams comics that they released in 2014, they addressed how Marlene and Ellie actually met, and it was with Riley, and it was before Ellie and Riley were even that close to begin with. Marlene was a lot colder and more blunt with them when that happened. She wasn't, you know, all that sweet and patient like she was in that scene. It actually is one of my least favorite Marlene moments. I had way higher opinions of her before I read the comics. It really changed my views on her because she threatens Riley with a lot. I know it's to prove a point, but either way, I think the dialogue in the comic is done a lot better. And this is where Ellie gets her knife, by the way. It was her mother's. And I don't remember if they address this in the show in later episodes. I haven't gotten to rewatching those. I'm still editing the first few episodes. Regardless, this episode specifically makes me feel like maybe in the show it was just a knife that belonged to her beforehand, which not great because the knife is symbolic. It's her mother's. She also gives her mom's letter. But anyway, I mean, I don't know. We'll see, right? And this won't be the last time that we talk about this comic. I think it will come up again in the Left Behind episode that they did, but I think that's way later. I think that's episode like 7 or something, maybe 8. I don't know. It would make sense because I think they did it in chronological order. Also, I want to talk about Ellie's terrorist line, the thing that she said to Marlene. She said something like, why would a terrorist put me in a Fedra school? Regarding that, after the events of the comic and after Riley and Ellie became much closer, Ellie seemed to want to be a Firefly. She seemed to want to become one. She asks Riley if she could, if she asked Marlene about that at all. She does this in Left Behind.
Hey, so maybe I should join the Fireflies.
I think, I don't know, whether this was just to be closer to Riley is unclear. I'm guessing that was part of it, but I think at least ever since Ellie got bit, she definitely believed in the Firefly cause, or at least to some degree. I think she wanted to be the cure from the get-go. She wanted to do that. It's such a, I think Riley fueled that a lot. I think it's implied that she had to kill Riley after she turned and Ellie never turned. But either way, Riley's death was definitely a catalyst for Ellie. I think it was her first big instance of survivor's guilt that she got from the whole being immune thing, which is such a big part of her character. It's this idea that she has to save the world, otherwise Riley's death was for nothing, and then Tess's death, and then Sam's death, right? Which is something that fuels her drive to go to the hospital no matter what, even after forming a relationship with Joel. When he tells her that they don't have to do that whole thing and they could just go back to Jackson and forget about this damn thing, right? Ellie says that it can't be for nothing. And it is a similar sentiment that carries over to her revenge arc after Joel gets killed, because he can't have died for nothing, right? And it also fuels her anger towards Joel for what he did. So it's a huge part of her character. It's something that matters a lot for her. So the fact that she talks about Marlene and the Fireflies generally as terrorists, I understand that they're trying to do world building with this, the Fireflies being terrorists, or at least being seen as terrorists in society. I get that, but I don't think that I don't know if Ellie would call the Fireflies terrorists at that point in her life. I know that she ends up kind of disavowing the Fireflies, at least in a moment of a lot of anger and mental instability that she has at the end. I think she believes a lot in the Firefly cause at the beginning. I just think that's her. I think that's a big part of her character. So you see how they've been already taking away from Ellie's character. We've only just started. This is still part of Ellie's introduction as a character. We're supposed to only be now learning about her, and like they're making it cryptic. They're making it like, ooh, what's going on with Ellie? So we're supposed to only now be learning about Ellie, and the fact that they're already taking so much from her character, it doesn't bode well. So yeah, those were my thoughts that I wanted to add, because I don't want this to go unsaid. I think it's very important that we mention the comic, and I think it's very important that we mention that Ellie doesn't share Joel's views with the Fireflies. She's hopeful about it, at the very least. She feels responsibility for being the cure. She doesn't just want to go home. She doesn't just want to, she does, again, like I did say, she doesn't have a home, and I still agree with that. Also, I'm sorry that less than halfway through the video, my camera focused on the darker parts of my room, and so I was just in a dark purple void for the rest of it. My apologies. It wasn't that dark for me, but my camera is it's just the thing that comes with the computer. It's not, I'm not a professional, I'm just a little guy, but I hope it's still watchable. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Ready?
What happened to having the little flashlight on your thing?
Oh, shit.
Oh yeah, they took out spores. I forgot about that.
Wasn't down here last time?
No.
I'm guessing this is meant to mirror one of the very first things that happen with Tess and Joel when they go through the tunnel and then they go through this building.
It's been Construction Corner with Joel Miller.
They're dropping the last name in the first episode. In the game they waited until he yeah. Yeah, Robert just dies on his own there. That's so annoying. We didn't get the torture scene, bro. Yeah, so similar. Why does she look so feral?
Ellie. Shit! No, it's okay. I'll be alright.
Shit. What happened?
Don't worry, this is fixable. I got his help. No offense, but Tommy's just one man.
You're the cause of it. You turned my own brother against me.
Okay, Joel.
How do you know them?
I was close with his brother Tommy. Said if I was ever in a jam, I could rely on him.
Was that before or after he left your little militia group?
He left you too. He was a good man. We were gonna move Ellie out of the zone tonight.
Hey, we're smuggling her?
There's a crew of Fireflies that'll meet you at the Capitol building.
That's not exactly close.
You're capable. You're gonna do it.
The hell we are.
I want Joel to watch over her.
Whoa, I don't think that's the best
Ellie.
idea.
Who is she? To you, she's cargo.
Just take her to the North Tunnel and wait for me there.
Jesus Christ.
Just cargo, Joel.
You get her there safely, and they'll give you what you need. Not just a battery, the whole thing. You hand her off, come back, the weapons are yours. Double what Robert sold me.
Asshole!
Asshole!
Okay, here's the deal. We'll get her to your crew at the State House, but before we hand her over, they give us everything that we want. If not, we kill her. There and then. Deal.
Speaking of which, where are they?
Back in our camp.
We're not smuggling shit until I see them.
You'll follow me. You can verify the weapons. I can get patched up. But she's not crossing to that part of town.
This feels like a Great Valley version of that scene. I don't even want to say, like, all the differences. There's hardly any similarities.
Joel. Don't fuck this up. You'll be fine. Now go with him.
Don't take long. And you, stay close. Let's go.
Give us a minute, all right?
What the fuck?
By the way, Joel didn't know who Frank was.
Who the hell's Frank?
Joel doesn't know who Frank is. Joel and Tess don't have little dinners with Bill and Frank where they kind of just chit chat. They don't have that. Tess and Joel are shitty people and they only care about surviving and they only care about themselves and they do really shitty things for guns and ration cards, willing to break a guy's arm over a gun. They do not care for living. That's what Ellie teaches Joel. That's what gives weight to that one conversation, short conversation Tess and Joel have shortly before Tess dies. Tess says that she wants to take it easy, lay low for a while after we're done with this job. And Joel's like, you want to take it easy? And she's like, yeah. She's like, you've always told me to lay low. And he's like, and you're always brushing me off. And Tess is like, well, I won't this time. Tess wants to take it easy after this because Tess is kind of just getting tired of all that. Tess ultimately longs for a redemption. Joel struggles to see that because he understands that they are survivors, but Tess understands that in order to be survivors, they've become really shitty people. They don't care for living, they care for surviving. Same with Bill. Bill only cares about surviving. He tries to have a partner and it doesn't work because he realizes, oh shit, I have to be vulnerable and I have to care for another person, and it adds a quote-unquote burden.
We should have brought more people.
They just slow us down.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, if the other person gets hurt or sick, I have to care for them. I can't just leave them alone. And it's a lot of extra weight. And it's just easier to be on your own. It hurts less. And the point of that, the point of Bill, is that he is supposed to represent what Joel could turn into ultimately, which we don't get here. I do want to say, episode 3, I think it's really well done. It made me cry the first time I watched it. I will probably tear up watching it again. I don't know. But I will probably feel some sort of emotion because it's a really cute episode. It's really beautiful. It's But it feels like its own movie. It doesn't feel like Bill and Frank. It feels like some other characters. Because Bill and Frank had a very different story. But yeah, Joel doesn't know who Frank is. Yeah, I'd forgotten about the fucking music code thing. Something else I hate. I have to say it. It was not needed. Not necessary. Just random bullshit they put in. And it ruins the fucking song that Ellie plays for Dina. It ruins the connotation of it. Because it just means danger or whatever the fuck.
What are you doing?
Killing time.
What am I supposed to do?
I'm sure you'll figure that out.
Like, I know, that's word for word. But now that conversation is so much angrier here. In the game, it's supposed to be like, yeah, they've just had a conversation, which, by the way, they just didn't have at all here. I don't remember if they'll ever have it, but canonically, that is the first conversation they ever have.
And you, stay close. Let's go.
Whoa. I heard all the shooting, but what happened?
The fireflies. Same thing's gonna happen to us if we don't get off the street.
You're the pro. I'm just following you.
Down here.
Attention.
Don't keep up.
Harboring or aiding wanted.
Where are we going?
Up there. That'll get us to the north tunnel.
How are we supposed to reach that?
Just give me a minute.
This tunnel, you use it to smuggle things?
Yep.
Like illegal things?
Sometimes.
You ever smuggle a kid before?
No, that's a first. So what's the deal with you and Marlene anyways?
I don't know. She's my friend, I guess.
Your friend, huh? You're friends with the leader of the Fireflies. What are you, like 12?
She knew my mom, and she's been looking after me. And I'm 14. Not that that has anything to do with anything.
So where are your parents?
Where are anyone's parents? They've been gone a long, long time.
So instead of just staying in school, you decide to run up and join the Fireflies, is that it?
Look, I'm not supposed to tell you why you're smuggling me, if that's what you're getting at.
You wanna know the best thing about my job? I don't gotta know why. To be honest with you, I give two shits what you're up to.
Well, great.
Good.
Joel learns a little bit about Ellie. The conversation is abruptly ended by Joel because he's like, I don't give a shit about you. And she's like, well, great. And he's like, good. They have that beef at the beginning, sure. They're being like snarky at each other, yeah, but they're not yelling at each other. They're calmly being sarcastic and passive aggressive to each other. And Joel is kind of just being dismissive and cold, like he is. Joel and Ellie only start yelling at each other when they start caring about each other, I would argue. The more they care about each other, the more they yell at each other. This little conversation is supposed to be more comedic and a little bit lighthearted, just like Joel being sarcastic but not aggressive, and Ellie being curious and bored and a teenager, not a dick.
What are you doing?
Killing time.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
I am sure you will figure that out.
Your watch is broken.
They tried to replicate it. But it was not it.
Your watch is broken.
You mumble in your sleep.
You mumble in your sleep. I hate bad dreams.
Yeah, me too.
I've never been on the other side of the wall. Look how dark it is.
You know, I've never been this close to the outside. Look how dark it is.
So what's the deal with you anyway? You some kind of bigwig's daughter or something?
That was Tess's line.
What is the deal with you? You some bigwig's daughter or something?
Something like that.
Something like that.
You dicks. Joel doesn't talk like that.
They kept saying, like, wake me up before you go. Shit. Gotcha. Code broken.
I can't stand this show's Ellie. Tess was supposed to interrupt their first heartfelt moment, and here it's just cheap comedic bullshit. In the original, they're starting to kind of have more open conversations with each other. Ellie's being vulnerable here. She's showing that she's scared. You know, she's just a kid. And Joel is actually genuinely growing curious, and he's like, what on earth do the Fireflies want with you? Like, in his head, he's just going like, you're just a kid. And then Tess interrupts that before Ellie can answer anything. But here it's just code broken.
There's a patrol up ahead.
Holy shit, I'm actually outside. Oh,
That doesn't go like that. Like, yeah, she does say, holy shit, I'm actually outside, but she doesn't place herself at risk like that.
Holy shit. I'm actually outside.
But they're making this first section before they get caught a lot more dangerous looking. In the game, it's like a very, very short period where they make you feel like, oh, this isn't so bad, and then immediately they get caught. Oh, it's the guy. Bro was pissing.
Don't move!
Don't do anything stupid.
Move.
I think here Joel gets like a
Talk this out. Turn around.
Get on your fucking knees.
like a PTSD episode.
Turn around, on your knees. You scan him, I'll call it in.
Put your hands on your head.
This is Ramirez at Sector 12.
Listen, you let us do this run, we'll split the cards with you.
Pick up the 3 stragglers. Understood.
Look the other way. I can make this worth your while.
Fine, everything off of this run, and half off on all of the pills.
Half off? All off.
Shut up. Tired of this shit.
Out of your fucking mind.
What's the ETA?
Couple minutes.
Yeah, he gets a PTSD thing. Joel!
No, I'm not sick.
Joel!
I'm not sick. Look.
Just not how it goes, not at all. I'm pretty sure it's Tess that tosses it over to Joel, but she doesn't go, Joel!
Fuck. I thought we were just gonna hold him up or something.
Oh, shit. Look.
Jay, this is looking they old to you. You would have killed me. When did it happen? It doesn't matter.
So let's talk about this scene. I understand the meaning of putting the PTSD flashback there. Joel never really has any PTSD flashbacks that we see. We definitely see that he has PTSD and that he does get placed back into that feeling of no safety, no emotional safety, nothing. It's just the feeling becomes the same. Like it's triggering, but not triggering enough to get him to black out like that. And even though I understand the meaning, I hate that they placed it here because it ruins Ellie's immunity reveal. It is important that we show the contrast between Joel's rationalization of this and Tess's. Obviously, at first, they're the same. They both think that Ellie is bullshitting. But Joel is the most skeptical. And Tess and Joel are both mentally present to witness that moment where Ellie says that she's immune. Here it's just all rushed and Joel is processing he just had a moment where he blacked out and he just punched this guy to death, like broke his own knuckles doing it probably. I think he did break something in his hand, right? That's a whole thing. Meanwhile in the game, we show that both Joel and Tess are surprised and they feel conflicted and they feel very suspicious of Ellie, to say the least. Tess points a gun at Ellie. Joel and Tess need to be both conscious and present to witness the moment that Ellie says she's immune. But now we have Joel here having a moment and not really listening to Ellie, and Ellie's rushing her explanation. She's like, no, does this look day old to you? That would have killed me. It just... the focus is placed on something completely different. The point of this scene is that Ellie's immune, not the PTSD flashback. And now we're switching that around here. The original, he doesn't have that. And here he does, and now we're placing the focus on that and not on Ellie's immunity. And Ellie's immunity is a core factor of the game. You thought you ate. HBO, you thought you ate. I think episode 1 is mostly good. But yeah, that's it. That's the first episode. Pretty fucking long, isn't it? I already gave most of my thoughts throughout the whole thing. I think it started off strong. I think it had a lot of good ideas, and then it just shat on them, and it shat on everything that I love. I'm just so, like, I remember watching this for the first time, and I was so disappointed by the end of it. Like, I was so pumped at the beginning. I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm in. And then it just started going to shit. Why? And then from here on, it doesn't get better, honestly. Admittedly, that first episode is longer than the others. This is gonna be the longest video out of all of them. My voice is fried. I'm not used to talking this much and not this loudly. I just wanted to give my thoughts on this. Honestly, I think it's a great idea. I've been having a lot of fun. But yeah, that's about it. Fucking, I don't know.
The hell's he yapping about?
Motherfuckers!